So we're still having this conversation, except I wanted to now see how to take it from just the me to the person. I have Amos Wekesa, the founder of Great Lake Safaris, who's here on BRITAM Money Moves, powered by BRITAM Easy Earner. I've seen your children in the business. And I think the first time, I think we're taking a trip actually from here years ago with Ondaba. And I think 2 of your boys were here. And they were just, helping to get the cars set. And they were quite young at the time. And I was like, okay, maybe they're just around. Kids are hanging. Because, if your father owns a business, just hanging around. But you said, no, they're in the business. They know, they may not really be doing the work, but they know this is what happens. This is how if we had a guest, a client. And I said, okay, in my head, I kept to the back. And you were having a conversation. I think this time the Barcelona conversation was happening.
Yeah.
And I think, who had you taken?
Zion, Kylan. No, I'd gone with Kylan to meet the Barcelona former legend. In Europe, we went across.
Yes, remember that conversation.
Yeah.
So you said, no, he went with me, and I think you were having a conversation, and you had forgotten to carry your business cards.
Yeah.
But he had remembered to do that for
Absolutely,
you.
yeah.
And he was young.
Yeah.
He wasn't probably more than...
2015, he was 10 years old.
10?
Yeah.
And this is a 10-year-old
Yeah.
who you've taken to a high-level business conversation.
Yes.
That probably wasn't even going to, come out at that point. It's like a long term, you're having a conversation for a long time.
Yeah.
But you've explained to him what it is at 10 years. He's gone with you. And you've told him, understudy me. I'm not going to explain everything to you.
Yeah.
You should be able to see for yourself.
Yeah.
And you turn around, you don't have a business card. And for him, he has even gone ahead to remember to carry some. I
Yeah.
thought...
He knows his dad.
But I was like, what kind of parenting? Because 10 years ago, I didn't have a child. But I was thinking, what kind of parenting have you done to get a 10-year-old to have critical thinking for themselves? Because today, of course, we'll discuss that now your children have done more than be inside the businesses. But we're talking about the start. How do you start to put the children into what you're doing? Even if it's work, how do you start sparking that interest?
Yeah, Flavia, even before I got married in my early 30s, I had a dream of what my family should be like.
Right.
As a young man. I said, one, if I can't feed them, I can't look after them, I will not get them.
Yeah.
And I had signed it up.
That's key.
Absolutely.
You can't feed the family, you can't take care of it. Let's first hold on.
They are not something you can throw there. They are very valuable people. They are valuable. They are human beings.
But we say, Mukama, God will bring. That's what...
I don't think God expects us to apply wisdom. Yeah. Actually, the Bible says a blessed man has to prepare his garden before he even gets married. It talks about those things. We don't want to hear about those, those things. God has given us brains.
Yes.
He has given us hands, given us eyes. He has given us legs. All these are for a purpose. He's given them for a purpose. And his purpose is for you to use them.
Yes.
Use your brains. Apply, yourself. You can choose not to. So first, that was the first stage. The second stage was that when the first one came, I was excited. I probably changed diapers more than my wife did.
Andrew also did that.
Yeah.
The first one, he changed every diaper.
That kind of tells me that you love me so much because I was the only one at the time.
You keep saying it was COVID, I was free, I had time. Now
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Yeah, no. But I carried this guy.
Yeah.
Every evening to find me walking with him. With that guy from 6 months.
Yeah.
He would go with me. I'm building a primate lodge. We're there.
Baby.
Yeah, sitting there, and then he comes with daddy.
Yeah.
One thing I learned because of being close to the children and the family, I learned that children are actually full human beings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That they comprehend a lot. And that parents are the first teachers.
Yes.
A lot of Ugandans expect that when the kid has done so well, it's because of the bad school. It's actually, you have not given them
either good teachers or bad teachers at the school, not you.
Absolutely. But because I also planned before I had the children.
Okay.
When we were dating with my wife, I told her, you know what? I did not grow up with my parents. I want my children, because us, we had a very peculiar situation. My mom has a firstborn from a different guy, secondborn from a different guy, me from a different guy, like that. So we had lots of challenge.
You said peculiar then, but a lot of people might relate to that.
Yeah, it compounded the problem. But you see, then that situation helps me to always think. Up to today, I can mess up. Okay, now I can't mess up. I can't get a child anymore because I did a vasectomy. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, one, I did not want to have children from different.
Yeah.
It has its own challenges because when you have a
And you
child
had
from
experienced the
yes, you're
challenges.
bringing a different group of people when
Yeah.
you know. And so I wanted to have that first of all handled. Number two, I wanted our children to grow up with
A parent.
a parent. And so I told my wife, if we're getting married, you know what, you'd be a home stay parent.
So that was a conversation even before you got married?
Before we got married.
Okay.
And I knew no one can love their children more than a mother.
Yeah.
I can just tell you she has just come back from Tanzania because she had gone to make sure she prepares the son. Me, I was just saying, go.
Yeah.
So I didn't get angry because I know her position in the
Yes.
I never carried that child for 9 months. It's a different story here. When she thinks something about the child, I have to find different ways of dealing with it, as Amos. So then there, I started having proper conversations with these guys. From 4, each of them comes here.
From 4 years?
From 4 years, they come to the office. And they help with cleaning the compound, stuff like that, you know, stuff like that's why you see. Recently, we were having a Rwenzori marathon and we were getting kits in a car and from UBL, and my son goes to Forest Mall to try, and he was carrying all these boxes. Now you see what my son would do.
He's used to
No,
it.
what my son would do is not hire someone to carry the box. He will hire someone to look after those boxes in the car, and he will carry the boxes. That's what he does.
Yes.
You know. Yesterday, one of the guys came here to and said, man, they're in Tanzania at the Member Lodge. Say, your son left the good rooms and he's staying with the staff in the dormitory.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came to me. They're saying that. I said, what do you expect? That's who he is.
Yes.
Because I've stayed with him in the dormitory. I've done stuff with him, stuff like that. Anyway, so then I reached a stage where then they start doing cleaning, being a garage.
Because you know when you say cleaning, other people say, Ndimugaga. You know, when my child comes here, he sits, they bring him tea and juice, he watches stuff on his iPad, and we go home. Whereas for you, you're saying, but if it's dirty, you clean.
Yeah.
You know, if there's work to do, you do it.
Yeah.
So they grow up with that instinct of work and defining work as work. Not there are some boundaries of work for Amos and some work for Aisha.
If you do that, you're actually spoiling for yourself.
Right.
So, Kylan is one of the directors of Tascarite Rwenzori Marathon. But when he's there, no single person on the team says he's there because he's the son of the founder.
Which a lot of people you would say about their
They actually know he's working.
They know you're only in the business because this is your father. If it wasn't your father, you would not qualify.
Absolutely. Up to today, he says, Dad, I can never call Mwamba Lodge our lodge until I contribute enough to it.
Oh, wow.
That he's very clear about that.
Wow.
He says, I have to work my way up through this. That's why he had a dead year. So that he works with us. He's 19 years old. Yeah, he's now the operations manager, operations person in Tanzania. He's doing, and he's very good at what he does. So he's like, okay, then I will look at the gap in the business, and I will go and study the gap. I'm not going to just go to school and get a degree without.
Oh, wow. So now he wants to tailor what he'll study in what kind of value he'll bring into that
Absolutely,
business.
from which country, which university.
We want our children like this. Because you actually have reason to wake up, because you can already see how the transition will go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I can't build transition with a 16-year-old and start there and start saying,
no.
Now, let me drum it in your head.
You start when they're young. Even just making them trustworthy, faithful. You know, like you say, Dad, you realize that when I'm in Tanzania, you have a trusted partner.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. And he won't do anything. But also he lives a very easy life. My son, we'll go and eat commando.
But you know how they say monkey see, monkey do? They just look at you what you do and they'll just copy and paste that same lifestyle.
But also as a parent, you must do harder things with the child.
Okay.
I don't know if you've observed properly. You know, we rode through Karamoja bicycles. We'd wake up at 6 a.m., ride through it. He did motocross. He broke his hands, broke his legs, had risks.
Yeah.
He understands that. He also was envied. He never understood, because he's in a home which is protected. We love each other. We create an environment that is loving in at home. But the world is not about loving.
Not at all.
You will go to a place where people just hate you. They're looking forward to. There's a percentage of people that will do that. They say 25% of the people around you will like you no matter what.
Yes.
25%, next 25% will like you but can be convinced not to like you.
Yes.
The other 25% will dislike you but They would dislike you, but they can be convinced to like you. There's a 25%.
Nothing can be done.
You can never. They will never like you.
And they also don't know why, but they just don't like you.
Absolutely.
That happens.
And that's a normal thing about life. So
you prepare them for this life.
absolutely, you prepare them. They go through sweeping. Now, when they get older, because you see, the first thing we're supposed to teach our children is everything we know.
Okay.
They don't seem to be appreciating when they're young. But my son from the age of 16 started saying, Dad.
16?
Yes.
Yeah.
Started saying,
Takes
Dad,
a while.
there are many things that you have told me in life that I never agreed with you. But I can see. I can see hate. I can see how to deal with it. I can see how to handle it. I can see value. The things that decision making, some decision making that I make, I go against what you told me, and I see the repercussions. Because at 16 he started his own business. I can tell you, he has, much as he's working with me, he has his own business. So he saw, I don't know that you were following the Rwenzori Marathon, he had T-shirts that blue and stuff like that, his own. I mean, he, at his age, he has a saving of at least 40 million shillings on his own that he's made by himself.
19 now.
He's 19, yeah, 19.
Wow.
Yeah. He has his own.
Trying to judge ourselves where we have a saving of 40 million shillings right now.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But how did he start? And things I've taught him, I've said, when you're in an environment, look at what solution you can provide. That's what business is all about. It's about providing solutions. Yeah. So when they were there, 4 of them set up a company in school where they would go to a window, shop, what are they called? These things.
Overalls?
No, this like sweaters.
Oh,
hoodies.
Yeah, hoodies. Yeah.
They started shopping hoodies. They started shopping second-hand shoes, stuff like that. And all they would do is sell to the students in the school. And they would make money from it. They did that. Then when they saw Rwenzori Marathon, he comes to me and says, Dad, man, can we tap into your business?
Vendor. He wants to be a vendor at your own thing.
Absolutely. He said, can we? They printed 1,000 T-shirts from China.
Yeah.
He came and they made money. Like that. They do this
Although, I mean, and I've honestly got to, as a parent, seep into your wisdom, because I look at the older son now, and Liam has a privilege even in how he talks, you know?
Yeah.
Everything will come. Everything can, I want, and he doesn't expect no at the other end. And you're almost teaching that no can be there.
Yes.
And this is how you earn, this is how you budget. You almost have to teach it. But then I remembered that there's a point where I sat and I told my husband that the problem isn't that we're talking. We're talking and saying the right thing. Our lifestyles are saying something completely different.
Yeah.
And the thing about children is that what you do is louder than what you say, you know?
What monkey sees,
monkey do.
Yeah.
And the people who are watching will say, but I don't want a hard life. You know, I don't really want to give my children a hard life, which is why they're educating their kids and taking them away. You come back with an MBA and you can't really apply the skills because you haven't been in the business. How do you balance the thing that how do you balance someone who's still saying, I still want to enjoy the good things, but also still be able to raise a child who has that open mind like yours? Does that exist?
But that's a normal stage, by the way. It's a normal stage, but how you play with it plays a very key role.
Right.
Because you see, like my son used to say, Dad, for him, he's obsessed with machines, cars, stuff like that. Tell me, Dad, you have taught me one thing, to work hard, but I will never be driving an old car like you. You know, I'll never be doing
an old car like you.
Yeah, never. You know, he was like that. But after some time, he started realizing. So one day I was having a conversation with some friend of mine. And I have conversations with very intelligent people around me. I try. And when I'm going to meet some very intelligent guys, I bring him. So he just listens in. So this day he's listening in, and I tell him, you know, it's not. So this guy asked me, but Amos, why don't you drive latest car? You can afford it. I said, no, we all admire those nice cars. So I tell the guy, one day, I save up. I said saving up. I save $150,000. I go to Toyota. I see this brand new green with a paper cover on it. I sit in it. I can afford it.
Yes.
But something just shot me and said, you're from Wakaka, you're poor.
But that's trauma. That's trauma we need to heal.
I walked out of that place. A week later, a guy calls me and says, Amos, you know, phase 3.
Yeah.
So I'm a landlord, but the next property was up for sale. I went. It was an exact amount of money.
Yeah.
I went and got
And it's prime, right next, a few minutes to the airport.
It's now like that land I bought. It's $150,000. The last I've been offered is $1.3 million now. Now, if I'd bought the car...
So the land was equivalent to what you would have paid for the nice machine?
Absolutely. That nice machine would not be $100,000 today.
No.
But the land is...
Appreciating.
It has appreciated. No, it's just appreciated. The last I was offered for the same thing, I paid $150,000. I've been offered $1.3 million. Then I saved again 3 times. So he was listening in. I save. I go again to Toyota. Again, the same thing beats me.
Yeah.
I go and buy 158 acres in Kasanje. Same. The funny thing is that whenever that comes up, the other alternative comes up.
Yes. Or you're trying to tell us that the alternative is always there. We just have to see it.
Absolutely. Yes. But you see, the thing is that it's not that I didn't
But you're
have
not telling us not to drive the car.
It's not that I didn't have a car.
Yes.
I had a car.
Okay.
And you know, if you've seen my UAS, it looks super, immaculate.
You told us in the beginning to maintain our assets.
Absolutely. If you enter my car, you love it. It's one of the best UASs in town.
It's UAS, but still an organized UAS.
Yes, but I even bought it 11 years old when I bought that UAS. Ooh. It's 24 years old. Anyway, so the story is that, then somebody calls me and says, land is 2 million shillings an acre in Kasanje. It's 158 acres. Exact amount of money.
You say, let's go. Forget the machine.
You look at how much that land is in billions. Because
has he appreciated that?
He has. Completely.
Even at his age?
Let me tell you why he had appreciated. So one day he was 14 years old. And I'd bought that land at, I remember, I think 380 million shillings.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it was, but it was less than 400 million shillings. And we were swimming at Lake Vic. And these guys had come to offer me 2 billion shillings for the same land I just bought a few years later. And he was swimming. He's very curious, so he comes in and listens in.
Yes.
And had offered me, I think, 2.5 billion. He says, that's my land. Don't even sell it. Don't even touch it.
I like that.
And I left it.
Don't under my things,
that's
please.
my stuff, man. That's our stuff, man. Don't sell.
Yes.
That's how I stopped selling it.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that they must see.
Yes.
You must engage them. Whether you're selling at the Katandalo, let them
see the tomatoes, everything.
Absolutely. Yes. My sons, those children, get them a chance. Sometimes it's not just about you alone. Yeah. He's been with the Van P's looking after pigs.
Yes.
And how dirty pigs are. He says, Dad, they're pig, but it was a nice job. He has gone to arrange eggs with friends of mine. He has gone to supply shops of friends in eggs. So I pay them through a friend. So give them a chance when you have friends. Let them go and do.
To expose them to different things beyond yours.
And it should be practical work.
Okay.
Recently I posted a picture where I was showing my daughter mopping a house, how I mopped it. So all of them I've taught them, you know. All of them, even my 12-year-old guy, can cook for himself. Okay. All of them by the age of 9, 8, they can cook.
This is now general life skills.
General life. Yeah. It has nothing to do with, if you don't teach those kids, you're in trouble. But people were shocked that I was there using our hands and cleaning. Mop. You know? And I was laughing at these guys. I say, you guys, you can't mop. Today, if a challenge came in and we have no Great Lakes, and we have no income.
But you know, money gets amnesia. You start to forget the skills you have. You start to forget the things you can do for yourself. That's what happens with people. When they get some little money, they start to forget they can cook. They start to forget they can hold bags for them. You know those things we said, you know, you can't hold your own bag, you can't hold your own pen, you can't. Money gives you a bit of for some people. Actually, it's just a thing now that people are changing that narrative. Actually,
money is innocent. If you got money and threw it down
money is not a problem.
No, it's you. It's just money helps bring a character, your character.
Which who you are always.
It amplifies your character. It has not, money will never.
Tells us the truth of who you are.
Absolutely. Money is important, money is good, money is innocent.
Yeah.
It is us who are not innocent.
Okay. And when you said the daughter, because somebody must have, I mean, I have 3 boys, so I can understand how the life I need to the hand I need to hold them. But you also have a daughter, and somebody might be saying, I might not have the same aggression as I would in teaching my daughter, or even all the children aren't the same. Yeah. You can see the strength, Zion's strength won't be everyone. So you have to sort of know, even as the transition is happening, that you're going to maybe give them the assets or the land and everything. Not all the children will hold the same role.
No, they will not.
In the businesses. Are you able to tell the difference? Do you sort of push the narrative earlier on, or you let them form who they are and then just go with their
No, I think, by the way, at one point, they can wake up and say, I have nothing. Like Carlin, I think at the age of 11, because, he got academic awards in Rainbow from the time he entered primary 1 until 7. He's a very smart guy. Yeah. But that's when I woke up and I thought he's smart, but he's not very good in dealing with people. And that's when I started taking him to like motocross, things like that, traveling around the country. I didn't mind him reducing on the grades he gets.
So he can learn this.
So he can learn these different skills.
Right, right.
And then two, we didn't also want our children to go to boarding school because we want to impact them.
Yourselves.
We want to impact them ourselves. But at one point, he just realized I'm so brilliant that I will be whatever I want to be.
Yeah.
There's a stage at 14, he just not. There's a day he would wake up and just says, "Dad, I wake up in." He tells me, "Dad, I would wake up those days and I feel like rebelling against you. Everything you say."
Just whatever you say, I'm going the opposite direction.
I'm going to go the opposite direction. But at 16, he's like, "Dad, I think you and I can do so much together.
Right.
There is no need for me to start
rebelling.
No, to start afresh from things. I can build on what...
Or start my own when this is here.
Absolutely.
I can bring my input into this.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know a friend who was saying that after the years they had built their businesses, which are really thriving, one of their sons said, the reason I would never be interested in this business is because I saw how much it broke both of you.
Yeah.
You'd both come back tired. You'd both argue about things. Like in building this business, it broke the family. So I would never want anything to do with it. And you're thinking, okay, that's all they took out of it. You know, that's all the children saw. So exposing them to everything is good because then they're seeing what it takes.
Yeah, to be. For
them to be that. Because if they're just seeing their version, you're not even explaining things to them, that's all they will take. So now at 20, they're thinking, I don't want anything to do with... Because what it means to build things is to come back tired, to come back yelling. That's all they see.
No, but I think one point that you bring out is that it's important to understand each wife and husband must fight because a fight.
Okay.
To understand what the different strengths are.
Between...
And support each other within... Yes.
Right.
Yes. I don't think my wife feels threatened by what I do.
Okay.
And one of the reasons is that I don't have any account in my life that my wife is not on. Even if she has been a housewife all throughout, you know what I'm talking about. So there's no... we don't wake up and fight over money because that's one of the biggest problems.
But also some people might argue because you asked your wife to be the nurturer of the children.
Yeah.
So stay home and nurture the children. I'll go and fend.
Yeah.
Right? And some men might look at that as, but it's my money. And they will actually optimize more for the generational wealth to their children than the partner. The partner is not part of the conversation because they'll feel like, oh, I'm taking care of you. But they'll think their money and business must go to the children. And sometimes you find the breadwinner is dead, and the woman now who's not prepared on how things work and is actually maybe going to even be looked at as greedy. But how can you plan for the children and you're not having a conversation with your partner? I always find that, why do you skip? Yeah?
No, the thing is that she's a shareholder in the business. Yes. There's no question about that. But what is key is that it was my personal dream. My personal dream was that the children are brought up by someone.
By her, yes.
I understand the impact, the negative impact of me having left as a kid to go to a children's home.
Right.
No, I saw the bitterness, I saw the, so I'm talking about. And we were 48 boys. And I can tell you there's been a negative impact. I can see where everybody went. And some of them have never healed from the negative sentiments that were implanted, that came with that, the challenges that came with that. Even when there was an opportunity to study. A lot have not pretty much succeeded because, it's very tough. So for me, I wanted that to happen. Mom to look after implants, and she's there, reads with them, does stuff like that. But I think key thing is that she has supported me. Supported me in many ways. I don't go home and I'm quarreling or...
Right.
It's what I'm talking about. There's no bitterness in the home. There is,
It allows you to have a clear mind to come and succeed.
Yes.
This side.
Yes.
So in many ways you're acknowledging she's a partner, just maybe not in that you both come here and
she's not a business She's not a business type, you know. But if I go home, and you can always see if I go home and I'm tired and I fall on the bed, she will come and make sure the curtain is closed. So
comfort.
Just basically she'll make sure the environment is good for me, you know.
That's a partner.
Yeah.
That's what a partner is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we don't have fights. We have our own fights.
You're human.
Basics. Yeah.
I like how the conversation went because it wasn't a typical conversation of do A, B, C, D. It is just apply a few things here and there.
Yeah.
Because you also don't have, it could have gone anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you could have imparted all of this in your children and they still wouldn't have wanted anything to do with the business.
Yeah.
But you try what you can and see what happens. If they came and didn't want anything to do years later with the business, what would happen?
Of course, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
But they will have chosen their route.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reality is that in life as a parent, you do not have a guarantee that your children will go the direction you want them to go to.
Yeah.
But when you give it a chance, you give them, you pour out yourself, chances are higher. Because tomorrow Karen can also wake up and say, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He's a human being. My mind can change.
Yes.
But I now see he's 90% tuned to
Okay.
working with us. In everything we do, Flavia, we're working up today. When you put in the efforts that day, you get better chances. There's no guarantee that you will gain
From it.
from it.
Yeah. So as we wrap, I need to know if, let's say, the business aspect or the business acumen, as they call it in the corporate language, if I realize my children didn't have it, are you trying to tell me I can teach it? You understand? The knowing the intricacies of business. Because business isn't just you wake up and just sit in a business. There's that patience that it takes. There's understanding how the dynamics, how people work. Are you telling me that these are things I can teach? Not
No.
necessarily you're born with.
No, not
Because
challenge.
then I'll tell you, I was born with a thing for business. And you're like, really? So the rest of us?
It's total nonsense. In life, we are all born with equal, really.
Okay.
We are born with the
You believe
similar.
that?
Yeah, I think so. I think well, and I believe that because I have traveled the world. I understand the world very well. I've been to almost every continent. I've been skiing, doing what, driven across the U.S. I've met lame guys who are prosperous, who put in stuff. I met guys who are disabled, who do stuff. I met guys would have had a lot of potential, but just killed it. You see what I'm talking about? But also, of course, the environment matters. Why are we, for example, in Tanzania? It's because it's business. It's a lot. Uganda does not even have, like out of Europe, Uganda does not even get 2% of the business Tanzania gets out of Europe.
Whoa.
That's a fact. You know, and I give you a fact. Last year they got 1.8 million tourists from all of Europe. Uganda had 24,500.
What a...
That's a fact. Now, I've gone to an environment that if I apply myself, here even if I applied myself, there's a bit of a ceiling.
Where you can cap. Yeah.
Absolutely. Under certain conditions that I cannot
Control.
For example, if the leader is not interested in tourism and marketing the country, I've spoken for the last 17 years, I cannot change how he thinks.
Yeah.
I've seen it. So when the environment is not working, you leave what you're doing. There's so much you can do. So that's how it is. But you asked me about
can you teach? You know,
every human being is teachable. Every human being is teachable, and we become what we're consistently exposed to.
Yeah.
If I'm exposed to anger, if the family is exposed to anger, those children will come out with angry minds. If a child is exposed to just cooking, and me, I've seen it. I'm having Great Lakes Safaris has a Great Lakes Foundation,
right,
where we train. We have now 2 schools. We train kids for 6 months, and they graduate, and a lot of now all the kids we're getting are getting jobs. But we're getting them from the village. I've finished S4 and failed to go to universities.
Right.
All of them must surround the national park. If we're doing in Chibale, you must surround the national park. That's what we're doing as giving back. But I'm shocked that every child that is coming out of there, just because they're being exposed to things,
right,
they are shocking. They go do cook. They do things across board.
Yeah.
So a lot of human beings talk like this because they're not exposed
to what's possible.
To what is possible. And like you said, you will have, for you to succeed in a business, you need so many companies of yourself.
Correct.
You have to work on your own character. You have to work on your ability to keep time. Lots of things around you.
Yes.
Because money, to be honest, accounts for about 15% for anything you do.
Yeah.
For you to succeed. It's like now we're building Mwamba Lodge. Many people have that money, more money than that. But to tell them you create a product like the Mwamba Lodge now,
it's an uphill task.
They wouldn't do it. Yeah. And many people confess they have money, but they don't know how they can create a product.
Yes.
They cannot organize so many different individuals, so many different people to put together a good product.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All they have is money.
All they have is money.
Yeah.
They don't have anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is, now you look at the child, somebody will have strength in, like I see my daughter. I think Unfortunately, all of them are very good graphics. Like if you see the T-shirts, my son did. He designed them themselves. He's not been getting contracts to design, to do graphics. You know, my daughter does the same. He's won the best yearbook designer, you know, in her school, stuff like that, you know. So, but she's more biased. She has ability to engage. I think she's the type who will do the marketing. My other son is figures, is what,
Numbers.
the lower one.
The CFO in the family.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I can see.
Yeah.
If you know, you see now it's in those dreams.
Right.
Dad, I want to go and become a scientist. I don't know where. I want to become a pilot. I want to become a basketballer.
Yes.
They're still dreaming those things. But you can see, then you just support them along those lines.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like this conversation is one that you can apply in your family, in your business. I always say that business isn't necessarily a building here.
No.
For example, this brain is my business. I
Yes.
always tell people that I am the business.
Yeah.
So I still apply what you say to me. I may not be able to pass the same thing to my children, but I can pass on wealth. For example, I can invest in assets that I can then pass on to the children. But managing those is the things I have learned that I will then, pass on to the children. Sometimes people think they're passing on the actual building, but you're passing on how they'll manage the building, how they maintain it, the people, how will they deal with them. So all of that, when we say generational wealth and the transition, we're not just talking about cash in your pocket, because you may die with no cash in your pocket.
There's so many poor people in Kampala here who inherited so much and blew it in a year.
Imagine that.
All the parents did passed on.
Is that actually?
But they never passed on the character, passed on the hard work, passed on the perseverance, passed on the commitment. Those guys don't want to sleep. They don't want to be like my son, where we work for 38 hours without sleep. They don't want to do that.
They call it a hard life.
They call it a hard life, yes.
Well, thank you so much, Amos, for your time. We are much better because you had this conversation with us.
You.
Thank you. That's BRITAM Money Moves, powered by BRITAM Easy Earner. Check this out.
Meet Moses. He invests in dollars, but here's the smart part. His dollars don't just sit there. They're out there making more dollars for him. He can take a break, but make or break, his dollars never rest. They're out there hustling for him 24/7, even when he's asleep, halfway through his dreams. Save your dollars with BRITAM Easy Earner Dollar and earn competitive interest in 3, 6, and 12 months. Call us today on 0312 305 600 or email clientservicesug@britam.com and let more dollars start rolling in.